Okay, whenever you're ready. Yeah, but I'm gonna cut it out when you're ready. Nobody takes down Angel Snuffing Up 7 easy. There's a reason why, after 100 channels destroyed, Angel Snuffing Up 7 is still here. There's a reason why nobody want to get in a beef with Angel Snuffing Up 7.
Everyone, good evening. Well, good afternoon still. I must say that we just got done listening to another good commentary by our good soul brother Angel Snuffing Up 7. And as his ad assistant, I just want to add on, piggybacking off of some things that was said this afternoon by our good soul brother. And this title here dealing with us as soul people ignoring our own, dangerous circumstances as we, embark on a more darker period in this time, living in this country as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. Now, I will also say this too, is that before I go any further with this presentation of what I would like to speak on concerning us ignoring our circumstances as it stands as a people right now in this country. I was just listening to a live podcast on another channel this earlier before I even got on to hear what our brother Angel had to say. And I was listening to a Black American going back and forth with some Liberian brothers. Okay. Now, I just want to point out something. Liberia is a mixture of not only just the native tribes of that West African nation, but also it is a mixture along with those descendants of slaves that came from America to actually establish the Republic of Liberia. And of course, as time went on, their history started getting bleaker and bleaker and bleaker because of civil wars and political cups and all that taking place over there. So, their country right now is still in pretty much desecration because of the decades-old civil war, and stuff like that over there in that country. And I heard a Liberian who was going back and forth with this American soul brother telling him, because the soul brother was saying that, we need to go over there and help build Liberia and put their leaders, right leaders in the positions that need to be in there. And, you know, he was talking all this about get rid of the leadership that's currently there now because a lot of them was responsible for the atrocities of that civil war in Liberia and this and that. Okay. But however, from my standpoint as a descendant of a slave born in America, to an extent, to a certain point, because our ancestors were the ones that helped establish the republic of that nation, we do owe that to help them build, but we don't have no place in their political arena as far as them, you know, wanting leaders in certain positions. And like this Liberian told him, you're just a minority on the outside looking. And he's right. Because he's not from that country. He's from America. And I totally agree with what the Liberian was saying on that note. And he said that y'all should not worry about coming over here building nothing and then turning around and wanting to put leaders in certain positions so y'all could do what, basically. And so, like the Nigerian said, we could do that. I mean, like the Liberian brother said, we could do that ourselves. Now, with that said, I commented under the video that Brother Angel Snub 7 just got done doing by saying that we need to worry about our own plight here in America and not worry about the plight of those in Liberia. Although there are some of us over there who are connected to the ancestors over here in this nation, but that's not our plight because they've been over there over 100-some years. So, you know what I'm saying? Our plight basically is no longer theirs because they've been over there for a long time, generations separated from us. So that is not our fight. And like I said, I agree with the Liberian brother on that. But what we need to worry about more, instead of worrying about Liberia and worrying about the rest of Africa, period, which we have no bone in, we need to worry about dealing with what we need to deal with right here in America. It's just that simple. Because right now, with that said, we have a tumultuous situation going on over here. And I would like to speak on some of those things in this live presentation. Because, first of all, we not understanding, although we know that these little white supremacist groups here and there around the country don't have no power to affect how we as dark-skinned descendants of slaves live in terms of the political aspect of things, but they do have the numbers and they do have the ammunition to help those in power to keep us in check. And right now, what we don't understand and realize is that you have a lot of these white supremacist groups, and even those who are not a part of these white supremacist groups like the Ku Klux Klan, the Aryan Nation, and these other neo-Nazi brotherhood organizations they got going on around the country. You know, even those who are Caucasian that's not connected to them groups share that same mentality and way of thinking. And especially those who are your Trump supporters, of course, that are connected with some of those organizations as well. And these people have high-tech military weapons. And this is why they're so hard, you know, or coming so hard against the government for trying to, unquote, as they claim, take away their First Amendment rights to own in or bearing arms. Well, we need to understand and realize that these people are in preparation for whatever is going to come for the worse in this country. And we, as a so-called black community, as we always want to term ourselves, which we're really not, we're just hoods, ghettos, scattered everywhere around the nation. But for those of you that call the black communities, we're not prepared for that. Because like with this inflation going on, because of the war in Ukraine, and like the gas prices that keep going up, and all the food prices keep going up, and everything else that keep going up. Do you know that could cause anarchy in this country if those in leadership in this country don't put a cap on that? And the way it's looking, while they're sitting up in places in Washington and around the rest of the country, tilling with their pens and fingers or whatever, and playing games with hundreds of people, millions of people lives in this country, that can actually happen. And do you know that those among the lower class Caucasians, like I mentioned, like the racist, white supremacist organizations, they can, actually inflict damage on us. They can come to these metropolitan areas where a lot of us are, heavily populated, and actually unleash on us with those AR, semi-automatic military style weapons. And we ain't prepared for nothing like that. See, I was just looking on another channel today where it was a soul brother who was, doing some work. And so a Caucasian comes out, I forget what type of, he was doing some landscaping work or something he was doing. Cutting grass or whatever he was doing, but the Caucasian came out of his house and pointed his gun straight at him and told him to get off his property and stuff. And so the brother was filming him and stuff, while he was doing all that. And his daughter, the soul brother's daughter, was present with him because he was there, I guess, teaching her things on the job site, So, while all this is going on, he's filming this Caucasian and stuff, who's, on a rant about him being on his property or whatever and all this. Well, like I said, these Caucasians are at a tipping point right now because they feel like they're not willing to share any type of equality or resources with those that don't look like them in this country. They subject to, going on a rampage anywhere. Look at the mass shootings going on. I don't need to even go into the mass shootings that's been taking place on a regular basis in this country, especially due to racism. And you are not even prepared for this because, like someone said in the last video I just saw before this presentation started, that we're comfortable in our position as a people in this country. We totally ignore these other things going on around us that we're not prepared for, while we're still running around killing each other, selling drug poison to each other. You know what I'm saying? Inflicting ourselves with that drug poison and not being able to think straight. Consuming alcohol, and in that way not being able to think straight, while all this crazy stuff is going on around us. You know what I'm saying? We're not even aware that not only do you got this political and corporate machine working against us in this country, but you have their low levels, like the ones I just mentioned, like the KKK, the Aryan Nation, Brotherhood, European Brotherhood Organization, and see, yeah, those are the same type of people that rioted on the Capitol on January 6th of 2021 last year. Okay, them the same type of people. And they all scattered around this country. Like I had a cousin to tell me that they could actually come in places like my home city of Detroit or Chicago and just start firing upon a bunch of black people. You remember just over recently ago, they tried to march into Philadelphia, even though the blacks ran them up out of Philadelphia. But that may not always be the case. Just like when that white boy went up in that supermarket and that black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York recently and killed all the black people up in there who was just trying to shop in peace. All they was just trying to do was shop for food and peace. And he ran up in there and just gunned all of them down. And came out the supermarket without a scratch. Got arrested without any incident. Of course, we know how that would have been had he not been Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, in this country of what we're dealing with right now, because we don't have a land, a country to call our own, or because we don't even have a state to back us, is why we find ourselves in this very delicate situation. Or I would even put it more precisely, this gullible situation that we find ourselves in. Because we're not unified, first of all, and we all scattered out, more divided because of this comfortability we have because of the trinkets that the civil rights struggle of our ancestors has afforded us, like the houses, the nice paying tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year jobs we have, the billions of dollars we have in our bank accounts, you know what I'm saying, the celebrity status or whatever, or the prestige status that we have going on. So we've gotten so obliviously comfortable with that. And even those of us who don't have much of anything are still comfortable with our circumstances in this country. And it's a shame. Those of us that are poor among us as a people that don't have anything, you will see will be more, as they say, awoke, than those who do. You see, and so the thing is now we're being divided by classes such as rich and poor even more, and that way the enemy has more range to where they can move in on us and have their way with us. And this is what we find ourselves at as a people right now. And it's sad. You know, every time I look up and I hear on the news, like with the Jalen Walker situation in Akron, Ohio, other recent situations before that's happened with us being gunned down by the racists, and then, these other things. I mean, here it is, Emmett Till's family is still trying to get the authorities in Mississippi and even those in the U.S. Justice Department to intervene in terms of prosecuting that woman that was responsible for his murder. And just yesterday, I heard that the prosecutor in Mississippi would not prosecute a case after his family researched a warrant that was still active, but was never executed against that woman that accused the Emmett Till of accosting her, which led to his murder. So that just tells you right there where we stand at as a people in this nation. We have no protection. We are alone. Just like John Henry Clark would once say, we have no allies. While we're, worrying about someone else struggle over in Africa or the Middle East even, or, other struggles around the world, and we got a struggle over here that's still intensified. That's why it appalls me when I saw back in the 90s people marching, raising millions of dollars to free Nelson Mandela from prison in South Africa, but you still got black revolutionary, political prisoners languishing in institutions or penal institutions across the United States to this day and have been completely forgotten about. Some have even died in those places in that sort of captivity. Some were freed just to die a couple or some days later after they got freed from decades of captivity, all because they was trying to stand up for some type of equality and liberation for our people in this country. And we just forgot about the people. And the ones that were even free, like the Angola 3 down in Louisiana, it was because of the Caucasian who had enough concern to intervene to help them get their freedom back. You didn't have no black people like that in the streets, in the massive numbers, like with the Caucasians, fighting to get them free. You didn't even have that many supporting Mumia Abu-Jamal just to get the death penalty from over his head. You had mostly whites doing that. Even those that protested the Black Lives Matter, recent mass marches and protests across the country, especially during the George Floyd murder, was mostly Caucasian. Mostly the ones that marched, on the behalf of Breonna Taylor were Caucasians. And that's just the truth of the matter. See, so that just shows you how much we're not together. Because when you did have mass protests, not saying that marching always or ever worked for us, but when you had those type of mass protesters back in the 60s with Martin Luther King and them, it was predominantly more blacks. Now today, when it comes to that type of stuff like I just shared, it's different. It's because of the lack of unity that we lost even over that period of time from 50-something years ago. And see, this is where we at. So we ignore at this point where we're at. Yes, we all like to get some type of stress off our mind to keep from being more depressed because of this type of circumstances that we're living under in a society like this, and I'm alone with y'all, okay? But however, I still understand that our plight and doing something about our plight to alleviate it from what it is right now is more important than that, which many of us don't have that type of energy, it's like right now, it's because just like Elijah Muhammad once would say, the fear of the slave master is going to be the result of our destruction, or how he said it is going to lead us to our death, to our very death. The fear for the slave master's children is going to lead us to our very death. And in that instant, no, that was correct, you know, because that's what we still find ourselves at right now, to this very day, even in 2022. So, we already have seen, for those of us that voted for Joe Biden, see where he stands at on our behalf as a people, even despite the promises he made to us for what he was going to do for us by helping to get him voted in to office. But you see what's happening, even with these other Democrats in Congress and in the Senate. You know, any piece of legislature that concerned us, like with the George Floyd Act, they just simply totally ignored, due to the side. Matter of fact, they ain't even passing no laws. If anything, when it comes to people's rights in general in this country, they steadily pushing them back, just like with the recent overturn of Roe versus Wade, which people still got many mixed opinions about, you know? So, I mean, what we're standing at right now is in a very dark period in this nation. And if we do not wake up and understand this, we might as well just prepare to go to our graves, because that's just what it is, you know. And we have no, we even the recourses we have, we not trying to use that. The last recourse is like with the ideal of us getting a state, the control of state, so that we can have some type of protection around us. We take that for a joke. And what's so bad about it is that we taking all this other stuff right now that's happening to us, literally, at the hands of the racists, at the hands of his system that is controlled by, or that it controls, rather to say. We taking that for a joke. Like everything is going to just change. Like, oh man, it's going to get better. Which the common Negro always would say, the common so-called Negro will always say that. Oh, it's going to get better. You just got to pray. You just got to keep faith in Jesus and Allah. You know, with people trying to force their religions on you and all this crap. You know, one thing I respect Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for was, even though he was a Christian Baptist preacher, he did not force his religion on no one. He didn't care about whether you was in his denomination or any other type of Christian or Muslim. He was willing to try to work with you, so we could help better our condition as a people in this country. That's why right before the death of Malcolm X, him and Malcolm X was starting to come together. He was even going to come together with Elijah Muhammad before his own death. You know, these people, you know, so a lot of these people back then, they didn't care nothing about your religion. All they cared about was the fact that you was being discriminated against and that you needed equality to alleviate that discrimination because of one's, skin color, you know? They didn't care about what religion you were. They didn't even care what gang you belonged to. And back then, you had gangs, you know, like Jeff Ford, you know, when his organization, he was a gang, but yeah, he was giving his organization was given millions of $1 million grants during that period of time, so they could help fund to empower the community in Chicago with jobs and stuff like that. You know, they didn't care nothing about you know, even though I don't agree with the fact that that money went into the hands, it should have went into other people's hands beside theirs, but however, things happened the way it did. But my point is that they didn't care what persuasion and like you came from. All they understood, because of our people's effort to stand up for some type of kind of equality and freedom and liberation for ourselves, was that, well, okay, let's give these Negroes some money, even if we just got to give them enough to quiet them up. We don't even have we don't even have the gumption in us to even take it that far. That's how far back we've failed as a people in this country. Yet we sit up there and we talk about what Martin Luther King Jr. didn't do right, what Malcolm X didn't do right, what Elijah Muhammad didn't do right, what Noble Drew Ali didn't do right, what Jeff Ford or Larry Hoover didn't do right, what Huey P. Newton didn't do right, what Fred Hampton didn't do right, you know, what Elgin Cleaver didn't do right, you know, and the list could go on. But what the hell are we doing? We're not even taking a first step like they took to begin things toward our improvement and elevation as a people in this country. We ain't setting up no school lunch programs for kids. You know? We ain't, you know, establishing no way where our people can have housing. Why is more of our people homeless on the streets than anybody else in this nation? We ain't establishing no situations where our babies don't go hungry. You know, beside our people having to depend on these government agencies so we could be able to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said before, you know, we are in a situation right now where we're in a more gullible place than our ancestor was, including the ones I just named. We're in a very much more gullible position than they are in, because anything can happen to us right now. Look at the so-called black leadership we got in this government, the so-called Black Caucus. While all this shooting and killing and mayhem going on in our communities, these police gunning us down left and right. When they feel like they ready anytime, they want to just kill us all. Just sitting back, twiddling their fingers, worrying about some damn Donald Trump and the January 6th committee. While many of our people still dying in the streets of this country. They families ain't getting no justice behind it. Just heard about a brother, young brother, killed in Seattle, Washington, where the police ain't finna be charged for his murder. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, it's just crazy right now. You know, and we just sitting around here, just twiddling our fingers, just, you know, going on with our everyday life. You know, we have no, you cannot live in a peaceful moment. You cannot live and actually feel peaceful living under conditions like this. That's just like, let's say you are in an actual, that you're actually institutionally incarcerated, okay? Ain't nothing peaceful about that. Ain't nothing, pleasant about that. And basically, that same thing equivalently applies to our situation as a people all across the board here in this nation. We're not in a pleasant situation. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you have achieved, your diplomas, although, yes, I'm going back to school because that's a need, because it's going to help lead me toward education where I can learn the skill so that I can survive. That's a part of living in this society. Don't nothing come free in this world. Okay, I get that. But understand, this is not to take no shot at nobody. That's getting an education. But that's not the all beginning or the all ending either. Because we need to be taking that education, using that to advance ourselves. Like you see other people coming from other countries studying in these universities here in America, they take that knowledge back overseas with them to help advance their own countries and societies. And what we have as far as education is, we need to be taking that and advancing ourselves as a people and not using it to continuously advance a nation that don't give a damn about us and our own interests as a people. Okay? But however, as I was moving along, was saying that, we have a situation, no matter how many diplomas and degrees we have, no matter how much wealth we have, no matter how much celebrity fame we have, we still ain't appreciated. We still the nigga word. We still the coon word. We all that bunched in together. We all looked at as Pookie and Ray Rays. No matter how intelligent or educated we are. So we can't go from winning and losing on any of them levels because we are under a system we have no control over. And yet we trying to control each other under this racist system that we have no control over. We're trying to control each other, trying to tell each other what to do, trying to force religion on each other. And they ain't doing nothing but making it worse. That's why so much hatred and animosity toward each other. Because we keep forcing our opinions on each other, forcing our religious, personal beliefs on each other. Like piggybacking off of what Brother Angel said, about how Malcolm X, when he left the nation, how he established part of his organization as the religious side and the political side of the organization. Like one would say, keep your personal beliefs to yourself. That's how it was with Marcus Garvey, which I concur with also. When he had his UNI organization set up 100 years ago in this country, where you had all different type of organizations working together under that one umbrella, So, we need to get back to that. Because that's the only way we're going to thrive and elevate as a people. That's the only way we're going to end up getting some kind of respect in this world as a people. Because as it stands now, we have none. We have none, period. Excuse me. We have none, period. We have no respect. White man could come out on you at any time and point a gun at you and call you the nigga word. and nothing gets done about it. The only way they were able to convict them crackers in Georgia for killing that boy, what's his name, Alberta, who was just jogging in their neighborhood, minding his business, just out there jogging, and they decided to take it upon themselves to gun him down for nothing, you know, over the excuse that he was trespassing in their neighborhood, when he should be able to jog any way he want to jog in America. You know what I'm saying? And just killed him outright. The only reason that case was so publicized and it got the attention it got, which led to them getting a conviction and all of them getting life in prison, was because somebody video recorded it. It was all recorded, even what was said. You know, how the plan went down, or how they was going to kill it. All that was, you know, recorded as evidence. But a lot of that stuff there is happening every day, all the time around America. And it ain't being recorded. But because of social media, that when it's able to pick up on something like that, then that's when you hear about stuff like that. But what about the people that died in the same circumstances? Is that like that brother did down in Brunswick, Georgia, in different other parts of America, and ain't nothing been said or done about it? See, it's still old wounds that's open that we need to correct. And ain't nobody gonna correct them for us but us. But until we stop being so lackadaisical about the situation and start understanding and realizing that we need to unite under one umbrella and stop all this division with this religion because somebody don't want to convert to your religion or somebody don't want to convert to your funky pro-black teachings or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We need to just brush that aside. Matter of fact, we ain't even in no position to debate. Like these people got these debate leagues on social media going on and all that crap. We ain't even in no damn position to debate each other. You know? Because no one has no right to really talk down to each other when we all in the same position as slaves. We all in the same damn boat. And we talking about who's correct and who ain't correct when it comes to the supreme wisdom and the knowledge and all this kind of crap. You know? Like I heard Brother Eric Muhammad on his Muhammad Temple 15 YouTube web page on a live stream talking about, talking all down on people because they said that they 5-point star flag looked like a backwards Turkish flag. Like they ain't got a right to their opinion, you know what I'm saying? Or to feel the way that they feel, about the situation, you know what I'm saying? So he gonna call them all out their name and stuff, And I'm like with some of the others that do disagree with him on the way he represent himself behind that podium. Even if it was other ministers, even during the time of Elijah Muhammad, that used vulgar language. That ain't no justification to do that. If you trying to reach out to uplift your people from the dead, as you claim in your teachings, that ain't no excuse. That ain't gonna get them to conform to your teachings. And this is why I say that with that force of religious or ideology and opinion on other people ain't gonna do the job. because we still gonna remain in the same situation that we're in right now. And it's gonna get worse. It's gonna keep getting worse. More of us gonna keep getting killed. More of us gonna keep getting raped. More of us gonna keep killing each other over gang colors, over sex tripping, you know, over even religion, you know, over other differences that don't amount to nothing. While some of us may even end up doing prison time over it. For what? We are people who lost all type of kind of control of our emotions. You know, even when it comes to dealing with the racists, a lot of times we die at the hand of the racists because we don't know how to control our own emotions in the situation. Mm-hmm. But a lot of us don't want to admit that because all we understand is that it was a racist who murdered us, which I get that, but understand this, you still have to control your emotions at all times, especially in the type of situation of where we're at as a people in this country. You have to control your emotions. You know, you have to control your emotions, or else you're going to get those type of results done to you. You know, you give them an excuse to say, well, we fear for our lives. That's how they could say they fear for their lives, because of the emotions you present in the situation. The out of control emotions, not thinking properly, you know. You know, even when it comes to being stopped by one of them race soldiers, or when it comes to, you know, even being approached by any other type of racist, you know, and dealing with the situation according to the situation, or how it should be dealt with. So you're not thinking like that. You're not using your head. You know, this is another way we wind up hitting our early graves. We're not thinking, we're not using our heads like we're supposed to. So, you know, this is how you see us all on social media when we can't agree with each other on, so we cuss each other out, we talk over each other, you know, and all this kind of crazy stuff. Disrespect each other, call each other the nigger word, the bitch word, the whole word. You know what I'm saying? For what? That's why I don't get on them platforms like I used to all the time. You know, all this stuff that's been going on around the country lately concerning us as soul people, or socially and politically. You don't see these same black, pro-black channels or black channels on there talking about nothing like that, or even discussing that, other than talking about some damn debate league, or talking about even to the point now, they what they even talking about is not even pro-black oriented. Other than you an agent and I got to kill you, and can't even prove somebody an agent, you know? Or how much panati they getting, or how much dingaling they getting. Like, damn, what equates pro-blackness with that? Somebody tell me, even in the chat section. What does, even though I can't see the chat section, but I can go under the video and look at it later if I can, but what equates pro-blackness with that? What equates pro-blackness with what gang set you in? They didn't even went to that level. Talk about gangsters. Like, I got gangster killers, like killers on deck, threatening each other, and all this kind of stuff. You the one from talking about Martin Luther King, Hosea Williams, pro-blackness, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, who who represent who you deal with that's representing sex and the gangs, or who you represent and all that. Even got this Negro, not Polite, what's his name? The one that was with Polite. But anyway, Sonetta on there portraying himself as a blood with a red bandana wrapped around his head, actually portraying himself as a blood gang member. What type of pro-blackness is that? You know? What type of pro-black nationalism or black culture is that supposed to equate with? You know? It don't make no sense. You know, it just don't make no sense at all. I mean, you know, it's just all that's just, I mean, you might as well just go back to being an average street nigga. If you want to be all that, because they out there to entertain that, you know? But I mean, man, I mean, it just don't make no sense. You know? And this is what gets me, and this is why I mean, you know, I tell you, it's just like a brother Phil Scott on African Diaspora said, you know, and those of you who know about that brother, he got a channel that deals with a lot of stuff, that deals with Pan-Africanism and Africa and all that kind of stuff too, you know, that's his own thing, and that's something I can't support. Okay, but however, he did have a point though, which was, you know, and you can't, like one say, you can't pay attention to the messenger, you got to pay attention to the message. But like one thing, like he said, was no wonder why you get black people that want to move out of black, you know, neighborhoods and move over to the suburbs, over to white neighborhoods or other neighborhoods where other different ethnicities, you know, inhabit or reside. Because you got Pookie and Ray Rays that's out of control. And people in our neighborhoods, which are not communities, once again, like I said earlier, is not controlling that situation. They're not putting no cap on that situation to give black people a reason to stay amongst their own people. So what you expect with them to do? Raise their children around that type of savagery? You know, but this is what you got. And then you pro-blacks get on there and call them coons, mock them, talk all this, but you ain't providing them no type of situation of protection from that, to where they feel like they got to leave and move away and go to other communities just so they could coexist some kind of way. And then when they get over there, you got the racists gunning at them, burning crosses up in front of their houses, spraying their houses with neo-Nazi graffiti and all this kind of stuff. Just like they did with our brother LeBron James a few years ago, you know? When blacks get money, you know, they leave the neighborhoods and go elsewhere and take their money elsewhere. What you expect them to do when you don't have no control of your own neighborhood? When you just let crime run rampant and only sit back and wait on a racist system to do something about it? You know? What you expect? Just like the situation in Baltimore, you know, where they got to the point where when they call the police because of crime being committed, they don't even show up. So now people got to take the law into their own hands, carry weapons with them for their own protection and all that kind of stuff. And this is going on throughout America. as well as in Baltimore with us, you know? So, I mean, it's like this is what we get when we don't have the unity that we need to, you know, put this under control. So, I mean, what you expect? And I'm talking to those in the so-called pro-black conscious community that make mockery of these people that make them choices to want to lead. Like brothers and sisters like our brother, soul brother Stevie Wonder, who want to lead the country, or who have left the country because they don't feel protected here, because we don't have no system or establishment that will protect us from this racial hostility, even from the hostility that we bring amongst each other, you know? And that's the reality of the whole situation that's going on. We can't blame them people for making them personal choices because of that. You know, I've heard people call black people who left America, who want to leave America, I've heard them call them cowards. How can you call somebody like that a coward, and you're too coward to keep by staying here taking this crap from the racists? How can you even call them cowards? You don't even have that right. And you still here under this oppression, taking this bull crap. But you gonna call somebody else a coward? Come on, get out of here. You know? But like I said, we need to establish control of a state. Or like Malcolm X would say, get a few states behind us and take control. Like a few of them states in the South that our ancestors had the slave on for over 300 years to help build this raggedy country, you know? So this, like I said before, we need to, you know what I'm saying? We need to really get it together. Else we're done. We are done. We ain't got no time to be wasted to be debating. You know? And I'm going to tell you something too. Don't expect no country outside the United States to accept 40-some plus million of us, because that's not going to happen, not even on the continent of Africa. They might accept a few of us personally as individuals, but that's about it. But it's not about individualism. It's about all the 40-some plus million of us. All of us as a people. Because we all fall up under this situation together as a people, as we've been doing for over 400 years. So none of us is exempt from this. We all in this together, as somebody would say. You know, we may have personal different experiences, but generally we are all in this together. You know? And we need to establish something right here in America. You know, if you don't want to leave your ancestors' work in vain, that's what you need to do. Because right now, they will be turning over in their graves, ready to spit in our face because of the foolishness we're doing to ourselves and each other in this country, and because of what we keep letting others do to us, especially in this country. You know? So that's why I say we should stop ignoring what is going on right now among us. And you know, that's really all of what I wanted to say. But you know, I just wanted to piggyback, like I said earlier, off a few things that Brother Angel Snuff had to say. You know, just to add on in this commentary, you know, to what's happening with us. You know, because this is not no joke. This is not no game. You know, this is definitely not no game. We are on the brink of extermination. we have no protection around us. You know, we have no protection around us at all. You know, we're right now in the situation, and I know, you know, people may be looking at this live stream, and you might be saying, "Oh, he sound far-fetched." Well, keep on thinking that, because just like they overturned that Roe versus Wade, all them other civil rights laws that's left around that was supposed to have been set up to protect us, the Supreme Court or the government could overturn it just like that too, like they did with that Roe versus Wade thing, that which really had nothing to do with us. It more so had something to do with them Caucasian women. But you got our sisters out there all tangled up in that, wanting to be a part of that crap. But that's a whole nother, set of circumstances in terms of subject itself. But I mean, hey, I'm just saying, we need to understand and realize that we have a right to establish ourselves a place in this society to be equal among the rest of the other human population that lives here in this country and around this world. We have a right to be free. We have a right to be equal to our own and to control our own destiny in life, to where it will positively affect not only us, but our future generations that come behind us. Because our future right now as Black America or Soul Black America, which I would prefer to say is at stake. Soul Black America is at stake. We are at stake. Our lives are at stake. We don't have no time to be, like I say, on these social media platforms debating, disagreeing with each other, trying to force our religion on each other, trying to get other people's YouTube pages taken down over some BS, like they've been playing with our platform. We don't have time for that. We're in the business of liberation for once and for all from these racist oppressors that we've been dealing with for over 400 years in this country. We need to be free. And with that said, I'm going to chime back and let this brother take us out of here, or take it where he want to take it, or take us out of here. But that's all I needed to say for now. And to all of you in the, all of those of you in the chat section, which I'm probably sure Deacons of Reality may be in there, I say peace to y'all as well. And to those of you that's watching this live, that will be watching this live later on. And so with that said, or as in the words of our brother Don Cornelius, peace and soul.
Xavier.